Can we talk for a minute about how awesome secondhand stores are for book lovers? My wife had a rare 3 days off in a row this weekend, so we decided to take the family on a little mini vacation to the North Shore of Lake Pontchartrain. By the way, if you've seen any of those TikTok videos that claim people driving over the Causeway Bridge go insane because they can't see the land on either side, it's nonsense. Nobody goes insane. You might fall asleep from the monotony of the drive, but nobody's going insane. Anytime I go out of town, I like to find stores that sell secondhand books, comic books, collectibles, that sort of stuff. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with a new bookstore. I love bookstores. I love Books A Million. I love Barnes & Noble. Every time I think about Borders, I pour one out for my homies. But buying used books hits different. A new book is a work of art because it's a book, and it is a work of art. But a used book, it's still that same work of art that it always was, but now it has a story to it as well. And you will never know what that story is, but the fact that it's there makes it a little more special. Who owned this book before? Where did it come from? Why did they decide to give it up? You don't know the answers, but the questions are enough. If that doesn't make any sense to you, that's okay. But if it does, then you are probably the kind of person who likes going to used bookstores. The other great thing a secondhand store has over a new bookstore is the thrill of discovery. If you want a book that came out last month, like say the new Dungeon Crawler Carl, you go down to Barnes & Noble and you know it's going to be there. When you go to a secondhand store though, there is absolutely no telling what you're going to find. You might find things you're looking for. You might find things that you were never looking for. You might find things that you never knew you needed until you saw them. For instance, a toaster shaped like Darth Vader's head. Didn't even know this existed 48 hours ago, and now it's all I could think about. We had a couple of stores on this trip, and I thought I would talk just a little bit about some of the stuff that we got and why. When we decided we were going to the North Shore, I asked some of my friends to make recommendations for stores in the area. And several people brought up this store that we visited, an art craft studio. I'm glad they made the recommendation because I never would have guessed that it's what I was looking for with a name like that. Now, this antique mall is huge. There's a big room in the front with lots and lots of nerd stuff, and an even bigger section in the back that's got more of that, plus clothes, antiques, tchotchkes, gardening implements. It's insane. Dozens of vendors have stuff here. And this is one of those places where you don't go looking for something because there's no telling what you're going to find. And that's what makes it fun. With so many booths full of collectibles, DVDs, books, comic books, I could have stayed there for days, but my production assistant was very anxious to get to the hotel.
I wanted to swim in the pool, Daddy!
Yes, I know. I wound up picking up two books there. The first one was this. It's a hardcover copy of The Wizard of Oz, published in 1978, with photos in a cover obviously from the MGM movie. The guy I paid at the register said he had never seen this edition of the book before, but I have, and that's the reason I wanted it. My mother, I believe, had this exact version of the book. It's probably still on a shelf at my father's house somewhere, unless my sisters wandered off with it. Then there's this, an adaptation of Disney's movie The Black Hole. This was a movie I loved when I was a kid. I watched it over and over again. Plus, I love novelizations of 80s movies, so this hits that sweet spot. The movie, if you've never seen it, came from this strange existential era where Disney was trying to make stuff that was a little more grown up than people were used to from them. Unfortunately, everybody still expected family stuff because of the Disney name, and because of that, a lot of kids, like myself, wound up seeing this movie where robots go to hell. It's one of the reasons they invented Touchstone Pictures a few years later. I also got a few comic books, some old Spider-Man, Superman, Archie, I'll never pass up that kind of stuff. And my wife grabbed a couple of novels as well, two of these old point horror books. These were the things that kids my age read back in the 80s. She says that books like these, along with reading Flowers of the Attic and Cujo at way too young an age, are responsible for making her the person that she is today. There was a ton of other stuff in that store that I was very, very tempted by. And if it had been the last stop on our vacation instead of where we went on the first day, I may have walked out of there with a lot more stuff. So we'll probably be back at some point. And to all of my friends who recommended an art craft studio, you were absolutely right. We also went to Second and Charles. I know, it's the big box of the secondhand stores, but it's still a place where you can get weird stuff that you didn't know existed. Again, I got a couple more comics. I got an edition for the Superman shelf in my classroom, and I got this, a mystery box. Yeah, they had dozens of these all over the store. I picked one of the boxes that supposedly has 6 science fiction novels in it. It says on the box that it's $100 value. I admit I'm a little skeptical as to that claim. I mean, if this was stuff that was in great demand, it probably wouldn't be in a mystery box. But you know, for me, it's the not knowing that's fun, and I thought it would be fun to open it up here together. So if I could get my production assistant over here to help me out. All right, let's pull this off, pull this part off.
Am I on camera?
Yes, you're on camera. Pull that off. All right, let's see. Wait. I'm gonna cut the tape. No, it's not damaged. Just come over here. Let's cut the tape and see what is in the mystery box. All right, let's see. Wait. One at a time, okay? First up, we've got, let's see, Birds of Paradise by Oliver K. Langmead. What if you were made before death? Adam, the first man, still walks the earth, exhausted by endless destruction. He is a shadow of his former self. And he's not the only one. The first animals are scattered across the world, hiding in plain sight from mankind. Sits between John Wick and Plato, a place which I frankly didn't know existed. Profoundly human. Okay, never heard of that. Very strange, intriguing. Let's see. Next, we've got Naomi Booth Sealed, the perfect modern horror novel. Heavily pregnant Alice and her partner Peter done with the city. Alice is haunted by rumors of a skin-stealing epidemic starting to infect the urban population. That sounds like fun. Eddie, what are you doing in the back there? We've got Nina Allen's Ruby. The story of Ruby Castle is told in snapshots and fleeting glimpses and secret histories, in tales repeated and reinvented by those who fall under the horror film actress's spell. Okay, so it sounds like she's an actress. You can read that. We have Chris Wilrick, The Scroll of Years, a Gaunt and Bone novel. Persimmon Gaunt and Imago Bone are a romantic couple and partners in crime. Persimmon is a poet from a well-to-do family who found herself looking for an adventure, while Imago is a thief in his 9th decade who is double cursed, and his body has not aged in nearly 70 years. Double cursed. That's 2 more curses than I want. We've got The Last Dragon of the East by Katrina Kwan. At the spry young age of 25, so the opposite of the guy from the last book, Sai has led a quiet life, barely keeping the family tea house up and running while taking care of his ailing mother. But he's parlayed a not-so-secret gift into a side career. He can see the red threads of fate between soulmates, which lends itself nicely to matchmaking. Okay, that sounds like fun. Last one, the only hardcover in the box. Let's see what we've got here. Apostles of Mercy by Lindsay Ellis, book 3 of the Nomina series. And it doesn't have anything on the back about the book itself. It's just a lot of quotes, although some of them are from people that I respect, like John Scalise and Jason Pargin of John Dies at the End. Now, this is book 3 in a series, which means if I want to read this, I'll have to go and find the first 2 first, which is a little frustrating. But, you know, anyway, I've never heard of any of these books before. It's definitely a few of them that I am very interested in reading, and I will be getting to those. You know, still got a month of summer left before I got to go back to school. There's time to read. All right, so there you have it, folks. A fun secondhand finds. My used book lovers out there, tell me, what is the coolest thing that you ever found at a secondhand shop? Let us know. And if you are in the Louisiana area especially, and you've got recommendations for any shops like this, hit me up in the comments.